Hello, Bookworms Ocean Explorers. Today, we're going to be learning about the seahorse. I have two stories to read you about the seahorse. The first one is called Amazing Animals, Seahorses, and it was written and photographed by Valerie Baden. Seahorses are not horses at all. They are fish. There are more than 50 kinds of seahorses. Scientists are still finding new ones. A seahorse body is long and thin with small fins. It has a long snout and big eyes. The seahorse uses its long tail like a hand. It grasps sea plants or corals. Seahorses can be many colors. Some seahorses can even change color. This helps them blend in with their surroundings. The biggest seahorses can grow up to 13 inches long, which is about from here to here. The smallest seahorses are the size of a bee. Seahorses swim upright. This makes them slow. Some can only swim about 5 feet in an hour. Most seahorses live in the ocean. They like warm, shallow water. Many live in areas with lots of seagrass. Others live on coral reefs. Seahorses eat zooplankton. Zooplankton are microscopic animals that live in water. Seahorses have no teeth. They suck up zooplankton with their snouts. Female seahorses do not have babies. Males do. Fry, which is what baby seahorses are called, develop in a pouch on the daddy's body. He may have hundreds or thousands of young at a time. Newborn fry are tiny and almost clear. They live on their own, and only a few will survive till adulthood. Seahorses live 1 to 5 years. Most seahorses live alone or in pairs, but some live in groups called herds or colonies. Seahorses do not move far from where they were born. Seahorses spend their days clinging to plants or coral with their tails. They stay still. This way, predators like fish and crabs will not see them. The seahorses snatch any zooplankton that float by. Seahorses are hard to spot in the wild, but lots of aquariums and zoos keep seahorses. It can be fun to see these odd-shaped creatures up close. Why is the seahorse a fish? People in Mexico told a story about this. Long ago, all animals wore clothes. Seahorse was a land animal then. One day, he played a prank on the other land animals. The animals chased Seahorse toward the sea. Seahorse pulled off his sandals. He looped them in his belt. Then he ran into the water. Seahorse grew small fins where his shoes had been. He became a fish. All right, my friends, that's the first book. And this is the second one. It's called Seahorse, the shyest fish in the sea. This was written by Chris Butterworth and illustrated by John Lawrence. In the ocean, among the waving seagrass meadows, an eye like a small black bead is watching the fish dart by. Who does it belong to? Seahorse, one of the shyest fish in the sea. Friends, can you see the seahorse? He's hiding right here. Seahorse has a head like a horse, a tail like a monkey, and a pouch like a kangaroo. This one is a barber's seahorse. He has tiny prickles down his back like a dragon. He may not look much like a fish, but that's what he is. Seahorse swims upright. He moves himself through the water with little fins on his head and a larger one on his back. He can only swim slowly, so if a hungry snapper cruises by looking for a snack, Seahorse does something very clever. He stops still and changes color. Now you see him until he's almost invisible, and now he is camouflaged. Every day at sunrise, Seahorse swims slowly off to meet his mate. They twist their tails together and twirl gently around, changing color until they match. Today, Seahorse's mate is full of ripe eggs. The two of them dance until sunset, and then she puts her eggs into his pouch. The seahorse sways about to get the eggs settled in, then seals his pouch tight shut. Safe inside, the dots in the eggs begin to grow into baby seahorses. They break out of their eggs and keep on growing, every one with a head like a tiny horse and a tail like a tiny monkey. A few weeks later, Seahorse finds a quiet place to hide among the corals. It's time for the babies to be born. He works hard all day and through the night, bending, squeezing, and pushing, shooting hundreds of babies out of his pouch. They swirl around him in the water like smoke. One or two of the babies hang on to Dad's nose for a bit. It's the first and biggest thing they've seen. But when they let go, they are so tiny and light that the current soon floats them away. This new seahorse is only as long as your eyelash. After you finish listening to the video, look in the mirror and look closely at your eyelashes and see they are very tiny. But she can find her own food straight away. Her eyes move separately from each other. One can peer up while the other looks down, so she can spot food coming from any direction. With one quick slurp, she sucks her catch into the end of her snout and swallows it whole. Because remember, seahorses don't have teeth. When she is big enough, Seahorse curls up her tail and sinks down to the seabed. Here she is safer. Her camouflage protects her, and if a storm scoops the sea into huge waves or passing boats send currents sweeping by, there are plenty of things to hang on to. When she is bigger still, Seahorse picks one patch of reef as her home. She wraps her tail around a coral branch. This is her holdfast. Wherever she goes, she'll keep coming back to this holdfast. In a few months, this little seahorse will be ready to mate. She'll spend the rest of her life on the reef, watching for food, meeting her mate, and trying to stay almost invisible. Who's that peering from the coral? Shh, she's a seahorse. So my friends, today we are going to add our seahorses to the sunlight level of our ocean. The seahorses like to stay up near the top of the water in the coral, just like that. Goodbye, ocean explorers.